On the night before my 65th birthday, my husband sat on the edge of our bed and told me there would be no celebration this year. No dinner, no cake. Money is tight, he said, like it was nothing. I nodded. I didn't argue, but the next morning, I found his dinner reservation, 5 seats, for women, and my name was missing. That was the moment I stopped asking myself what I had done wrong, and started deciding what I would do next. My name is Anna. I have lived most of my life in a small town in Dakota, where winters are long and silence has a way of telling the truth. I met my husband when I was young, tired, and hopeful. I worked long hours, sometimes 2 jobs, and still hurried home to cook his favorite meals. Back then, he looked at me like I mattered, like I was his safe place. He used to bring me flowers from the side of the road and promise we were a team. Years passed. We built a home. We raised a child. We paid bills slowly, carefully, one sacrifice at a time. I stood by him while he climbed higher at work, while I stayed quiet in the background, folding laundry and lowering my voice so his world could stay peaceful. Somewhere along the way he looked at me changed. Not suddenly, slowly. His phone became more important than my words. His laughter belonged to someone else, and I kept telling myself it was stress, or age, or that this is just what long marriages become. Until the night before my birthday, he said money was tight, while wearing a new watch, while smelling like a cologne he hadn't used for me in years. When I saw that reservation on his phone the next morning, something inside me didn't break. It woke up. I didn't confront him. I didn't cry. I stood in the kitchen, hands on the counter, and remembered every birthday I had made special for him, every cake I baked, every gift I stretched my budget to buy, every time I told myself not to complain. And I realized something painful and clear. This wasn't about a dinner. This was about being erased, so I chose calm, the kind of calm that scares people. I called the restaurant. My voice was polite, steady. I asked about the reservation under my husband's name. Yes, ma'am. Table for 5. The hostess said. I'm his wife, I replied, and I'd like to prepay the entire bill. Then I asked to add one more guest, a family friend, our lawyer. I also asked for a small favor. When the cake comes out, I said, please tell him it's from his wife. There was a pause. Then she said, of course. That same day, I went to the bank, the same bank where I had deposited decades of my life. I moved the money that belonged to me, my inheritance, my earnings into an account with my name only. My hands didn't shake, because clarity is stronger than anger. Then I went to my lawyer, and for the first time, I said everything out loud. The neglect, the lies, the quiet loneliness of being married and invisible. That evening, my husband left the house dressed like a man who believed he was untouchable. He didn't look at me. He just said he'd be late. I stayed home, and in my mind, I could see it all. The restaurant lights, the laughter, the confidence, the way he probably thought he had gotten away with it until the cake arrived. Happy birthday, the waiter said. This is from your wife. And then the envelope appeared on the table. Legal papers don't need to shout. They just sit there, waiting. When he came home, he was furious. Accused me of humiliating him, of embarrassing him, as if the real shame wasn't what he had done, but that the truth had finally caught up. I didn't raise my voice. I placed the bank papers on the table and said one sentence he will never forget. You didn't want to celebrate my birthday, so I celebrated my freedom instead. That night, I slept peacefully for the first time in years. The next morning, the house felt lighter, not because I won, but because I stopped disappearing. If you are listening to my story right now and you feel ignored, replaced, or quietly pushed aside in your own life, please hear this. It is never too late to choose yourself. Love without respect slowly empties you, and no birthday, no woman, no life should ever be treated as optional. Thank you for sitting with me until the end. If this story touched you, subscribe and stay with me, and tell me in the comments where you're watching from, so this old woman from Dakota doesn't feel so alone.